Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, break of the seven seals, the crusher. Brothers and sisters, in here. I'm not sure how many of you watched December 11th broadcast. They're in trouble over there. Some petition is falling. He's going to be dispatched in a few more days. The lion Farrakhan, a demon, follows the devil. He says so. Google him. Follows the devil. Means he's the devil. You are the seed. He says follows a white Portuguese Jew. That makes him a black Portuguese Jew. Satan, demon. Satan will cast out Satan. He says he's casting out Satan. It tells you who would cast out Satan. Satan. It's a liar and deceiver. He's says who the Lord would consume with the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. So, brothers, I'm going to cover a few things today. I'll move fairly quick because that's something I talked about. I'm going to add a few things to it. So, bear with me. You know, brothers and sisters, ask yourself a question. If someone comes and tells you, says, look, I'm healthy, I eat healthy, right? You know, I eat healthy foods, so forth, so on, right? And yeah, I eat pork chops, right? And hog balls, and you know. And you say, well, in your mind, you say, how can you say you're eating healthy? Say you eating pork? How is that healthy? You know, see, I'm going to the gym, I'm in good shape. How you say it healthy? And the person they tell you that, I mean, they're really serious. They say eat healthy. Get plenty of protein, everything. Get their protein from eating pork chops and ham hocks and so forth. Because brothers and sisters, they don't think pork is bad. So therefore they can say it with a clear conscience, with conviction, I don't eat bad food. See? Because they don't believe pork is bad. So in their mind, right, they're not eating anything bad. That's the same thing why these people can say what they say about America. Well, America, right? Land America was conceived in justice and equality and freedom for all. See? America's the greatest place on the planet. It's the hope of America. It's the hope of the planet. And we got to return to our Christian values. See? And make America great again. And you ask, how are they saying this stuff? They know the history? Home of the free, land of brave. I mean, there was raping women and children when that was happening. Still doing it today. It was only willingly, right? Enslaving people and raping them and destroying them. They go out to kill, steal, and destroy. From its very founding. They stole this land, committed genocide, because in their minds, see, because what they've been teaching for 400 years, they don't do it in public anymore. But they was teaching their churches that we was Ham, that we was born to be slaves, was born to be tormented, right? We was cursed by God. That's how we became black, because we was cursed black, which goes against all kinds of genetics and biology. But if you believe that Farrakhan, right, is your anointed, then you should believe that all. You should be other stuff. You should believe that too. Because I mean, if because if it doesn't matter who his father is, like he's telling you, it doesn't matter your father's God made you in the womb. If you believe that, then I guess you believe other garbage too. Because it's genetically impossible, right, for blacks to come from whites. See? That's what they tell you. Was born, was cursed, was Ham. So what they did to us was God's will. They was doing God's will. They was an instrument of God punishing us. Because that's why we're here, because we're being punished. And they can't say it in public anymore, so they got Farrakhan to say it. He's one of them. See, okay, he has credibility to say it because he's a black person. He may be black, he ain't one of us. The people in India, they're black too, ain't they? Are they one of you? Are they one of your brothers? Some are blacker than most of y'all. So that make them one of us? It's not skin tone. Tell me, you expect, you got black people in China too. That's Chinese and Japanese too. Because they black, they're one of us. How about the Aborigines? They black. But you make a distinction. So what about these black house Negroes, black master slave children? Because and we was in chains. We knew not to trust them. So what happened? We knew they not to trust them. There was preachers back there telling you, you got to obey, you got to this, and they was getting better food and everything else for it, betraying you and lying to you. But they wasn't really betraying you because they wasn't of you. They had to be of us to betray us. They wasn't betraying us, right? They was looking out for massa. There was house Negroes, and you was never going to get in that house. There was preachers, Sharpton, Jackson, all these clowns. We all knew they was no good. We know it was master's children, and we know we couldn't be trusted. So what happened? They still can't be trusted. They sell. You can't say they're selling us out because they're not one of us, right? Undercover. Can't call undercover brothers because they're not brothers. It's black. It was born wolves in sheep clothing. So they got Farrakhan to tell you that. So they don't believe they did anything wrong to us. They was doing God's will. That's why they can say this stuff. They say, man, make America great again. We got to turn back to our Christian values. We got to go back to how it was before in the 50s and 60s. How was it back there? How was it 20 years ago? How was it back there? Who was the original values? I mean, what was the symbol that we was enslaved under? What was the symbol that was beaten, tortured under? What was the symbol that was being raped and sodomized under? Wasn't the symbol of the cross? It wasn't a symbol of Hinduism or communism or Buddhism or any other ism. It was a symbol of the cross. That's a symbol that enslaved us. The Confederate flag, when our grandmothers and grandfathers, there was great grandfathers too, especially their children. Jefferson and Washington was pedophiles. They was raping women's babies, children. You know about gator bait? And we supposed to love these people? Honor them, respect them? Why? They got a new movie come out, Devotion. Devotion, look at the names they use. Oh, black folk people devoted to these people? Why would we be devoted? The demons were because that's the dilemma, bro. It's worse than a dilemma. It's worse than an enigma, right? Because they put them up, and you think because look like you that you're supposed to follow the example, and it's powerful because it's working. Because that's all you see in the news. They find the demons, and that's why it says it was plagued by demons. That's the nature of the plague. Nature of the plague, right, is the deception of the demons. Because it look like you, and you want to be like, oh, I want to be like LeBron James. He don't care about you. He's a demon. He wouldn't be allowed. Look what happened. He wouldn't be allowed to be in Matt's house unless he was a demon and saying what Master woman say. Look what happened to Copenhagen. As soon as he said something out of order, he got slapped down. Look what happened to your boy Kanye. Beating him, slap down, bam. You don't get there unless you master's child and you obey a master, do what master tell you to do. That's the deal. And Farrakhan, he's on his so-called broadcast, see, he's in trouble. It says, who the Lord will consume with spit of the mouth. He's being consumed now. He's being consumed and he's going to be destroyed. He's soon to be destroyed. He's been consumed. That's what it says. Listen what they said in the broadcast. Oh, man, they always attacking Farrakhan. And why? Because it says, when Suleiman, when he finally came face to face, when he said what he was doing was he was complaining, said, "Stop tormenting me! Stop tormenting me!" Why? Because he said the nature of torment was he was exposing them. And that's why they responded, because they responded to all my presentation every week, and the weekend they respond to them directly. So we know they pay attention to them, and they got an answer to them, and they don't have a decent answer. Because we're telling the truth. And falsehood cannot overcome truth. Falsehood can only, lies and falsehood, low pressure can overcome high pressure. They can only trick you into lowering your pressure. Self-image deprivation, that's the only weapon they have against you. Only weapon they have against you. And that's what they're using. All these stupid movies coming out now. Why should we be devoted to these people? But see, they got demons playing those parts. So something wrong with you if you're not devoted to this country. Why? That's addition? Why should we be devoted to this country? We're still slaves here. Are we not slaves? Yes, you are. Look up, think about what an industrial slave would look like. You do what they tell you to do, you put in jail. You talk like they tell you to or you say anything you don't like, they put you in the platform, they put you in jail and everything else. You got to obey the laws how you're free. You don't obey your own laws. You do what they tell you to do. Or you end up in jail or prison. If you're free, how can they put you in prison? How can they draft you and put you in the military? Fight their enemies. You fight their enemies, making them their enemies your enemies. How do you do those things if you're free? Why are you still walking around with their names if you're free? You're in prison, your name is, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then as soon as they let you out of prison, you tell everybody, what's your name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say, are you crazy? That was your name in the prison. My name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say, no, you butt broken up there, and you probably want to go back. See Clyde, your boyfriend. Well, Clyde, I'll be back, sugar. I'll be back in a minute. You know, I love you. It's sad. It's sad. And they proudly walk around. My name is James Jefferson. Jefferson. And they laugh at you. They laugh at you behind your back. They laugh at you. They didn't do it to your face. That's why they'll come and tell you to your face. And now you 3/5 human. And they taught in the churches for over 40 years that you was him, you deserve to be slaves. And they even told you that. And they had the preachers come out and reinforce that. That's what gave the justification of doing what they was doing. Because you was cursed by God. So let me give you what would they call it? The 411. Let me get a 411, brothers and sisters. Okay. Because what fuels this economy? Oil. That fuels it. Oil. Without it, this whole economy, this whole economic structure they have, capitalism and everything, falls apart. That's the base, that's what fuels it. What fuels this ideology? See? The fact that we are Ham, right? That's why I said false Israel over there, to prove that we're Ham and they're true city of Ham. That's why Rush put that together in 1948. It's not the true thing because it says when they return to Arabia, not Palestine. And they would be without walls and at peace. That's never been the case. But that's why they set them up. They counted what Elijah Muhammad said. So you got two things. And both of them reside in the Middle East. The oil, they depend on that, and they depend upon that ideology. This, right? The proof is that we're Ham. So they didn't do anything wrong to us. They still good people. They was just like a prison guard. He beat you up and everything. Nope, nothing said. Because you're a prisoner, you're a criminal. So he don't have no conscience about it, and nobody's gonna say anything about it. You're not a bad person. You're punishing somebody that's a murderer, a robber, a thief, or something. Even though America, what's your rap sheet? You see what I'm saying? So the same thing. See? So they got false rule over there, tend to be us, stolen our identity. At the same time, they're marring our identity on Hollywood here over here to make sure that nobody ever figures out that we're the truth. Because look at these niggas over there, man. They walking around, pants hanging down, and eating chitlins and right? And the girls walking around with no clothes on, they shaking their ass, big old moon, and they got some Negro butt nose up their butt, and that's supposed to be us. And comedians, art, and all these clowns, right? That's supposed to be us. That's not our image. I'm 73 years old, and grew up in Newark, and Newark was supposed to be hip. You see, and I wasn't what they call lame. I knew what was happening. I spent a lot of time in the library, but I knew what was happening. Nobody ever called me lame. I was respected and I hung out. Not like as much as they did, but I did. I like girls. And I never seen any Negroes act like they show on TV. Dynamite! All that BS. I ain't never seen anybody act like that. No black folks act like that ever. And I've been all over the country. I lived in Chicago 13 years. I've been to California. I've been to the South. I've been to Florida. I've been all over the place. I don't know any black folks act like that. So why are they showing you that in the news? That's where everybody looks. That's where everybody in the world see us. They do it purposely. So we could possibly see that augments their claim to be a true savior because they're so respectful. See, they're in every elevated place. See, they got wealth and everything else. And we just poor, ignorant niggers. Look at how we act. How can we possibly see that? How can we be God's chosen people? What kind of gods? Look at it. They're savages. Because that's what they portrayed as savages. They portrayed as savages. And then they got the demons to prove it. Look how they act. They put them in a civilized place. Look how they act. Look how they act. Look how they talk. I don't know no black folks act like that. And I've met some prominent black folks. When I came out of Vietnam, even in Vietnam, right? I was there twice. Hung out, I did the thing, right? I smoked all that stuff before I became a member of Elijah Muhammad. And we was doing all the dap stuff, and I still didn't know black folks act like that. I went to California on my way trying to find Elijah Muhammad, and I got hooked up to Black Panthers, right? Huey Newton, not Huey Newton, David Hilliard, Bobby Seale, all those. I met them. Was at their home. They're supposed to be the coolest dudes in the West Coast. They didn't act like that. So bullshit. Dynamite. See, that's what it was. Because everybody said, they're going to possibly be. See, because if they're the real deal, and somebody see the real deal, when you see you got the fake there, right? And you can convince everybody it's the fake because they haven't seen the real deal yet. So it's real this, then you realize it's fake. See? So they want to make sure if you see the real deal, it's all screwed up marred that you can't possibly think that could be the possible real deal. That's why I had to get rid of Elijah Muhammad with Farrakhan there. Because Elijah Muhammad was showing, right, what the real deal looks like. It wasn't nothing like they were showing on TV and the movies, nothing like that at all. Showing the real deal look like. And that was exposing the myth, exposing it. He said to get rid of him, put Farrakhan up there. He said he would make Elijah Muhammad's army, right, a laughing stock for the world. That's what he did. It's not respected. They're laughing stock. They're a joke. Farrakhan's a joke. Understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. And so they're going to pay a heavy price for everything. Everybody's going to pay a heavy price. This whole world, all the nations are going to pay a heavy price. Because every nation had a hand in this. There's not one nation that had clean hands. Not one. All of them had a part in this. All of them. And all of them going to pay. Because the war is coming. You see, that's what's happening. I mentioned two things. I mentioned other things before. I'm focus on those two things right there. A war, that's where the war is going to take place. That's going to ignite everything, not Ukraine. Or that's going to blow up after the war in heaven. Where Michael's angels are going to against dragons and angels. Because it's going to break the pride of their power. I talk about this, but I'm just focus on two parts of it. Break the pride of their power. I want you to understand the significance of this. The abomination, desolation, breaking the pride of their power, the one in heaven, all three are combined together to mean the same thing. Because what's the stake at the one Middle East? So the war has to take place unless they get Iran to back down. They said they ain't backing down. JCPOA is out of the question. Iran's rich and raiment. They said they got enough to make a bomb pretty soon. And false Israel cannot allow them to have a bomb because it would. That means they'll be destroyed immediately. Not by the bomb, just by war. Because they outnumber like 10, 20, 30 to 1. They cannot win. In this time frame, they cannot win. See, they cannot win that type of war, conventional war. The war of attrition. The only advantage they have is nuclear weapons. If Iran has them, that advantage is taken away because they'll use them. You understand? Make a change here. You understand that, brothers and sisters? So, understanding that, right? The war is imminent. Now, I'm getting this to World War III in Europe, but this is going to be triggered. So if you understand, and they're telling you war is imminent. So just take that for instance. First, you got to understand how this all affects you, black brothers and sisters. How does it affect you? Do you think these things true? In between playing video games? How does it affect you? Because America right now has an oil crisis. And a large part of the oil is coming from, the oil needs is coming from the Middle East. A large part of it. Because that drilling here, a large part of it's coming from the Middle East. Majority of it. Maybe somewhere 80, 89% of it. And even with that, they have an oil crisis. And Europe is totally dependent upon oil from the Middle East now, since they're not getting from Russia anymore because they're in conflict with Russia. They totally depend upon it. Right? So if they go to war in the Middle East and America loses that war and is thrown out, like it says in Revelation 12, what's the impact of that? That means the Shia will have total control of all of it. Arabia, all of it. All of it. That's immediate shut off of oil to the United States. Immediate. And to Europe. Immediate. What does that mean? That's famine. Because even if they got food on the farms, they cannot get it to you. Because no oil. The oil they have, they're going to have to conserve it. Because dumbass Biden, he got a hook in his jaw. He's been depleting their Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR. Look it up. So they don't have much of that left either. And Europe's going to demand America's supply because you say, hey, you brought this on. They're going to demand America's supply of oil. America won't be able to do it, can't do it if they wanted to. And then, even if they did, they have to send it by boat, which would take a long time. And we're in the middle. We're in the middle of winter. The winter's about, it's cold over there right now. So even if they could, it'd take a while to get there. Even if they would sit, and they wouldn't. So let's look at it from that point. Don't look at the war and everything is coming behind that. Just look from that point of view. That means all be cut off. You know, in the 70s, the House of Saud cut off all to America because some dispute they had. I was there in the 70s. And they had cars running around the block 2 or 3 times waiting to get gas. Because they were so dependent upon oil in the Middle East. So when oil is cut off permanently, what do you think the impact will be? The oil that's available is going to be sky high. If it ain't available at all, what, 50, 60 bucks a gallon? Can you afford that? Just say that was the case, inflation. But it's more worse than that. Because we totally cut off. So that means America, they can't afford to give the public the gas because they need it for the military. The military is going to need all. They just have enough for the military. It means it's going to be total. So that means you're not going to be able to because the stores, they could get food to the stores. It'd be total famine because you won't be any food. They already told you guys a problem with the energy supply and energy distribution and carrying on. They already got problems in those areas. So when the total oil is cut off, because they probably depended upon that. That's their lifeblood, the lifeblood of this whole economy. Oil. This whole thing is built up off of that. So if it's shut off, there won't be any food in the stores. What food in the stores is we go out there within 2 or 3 days, if that much, because they're going to have a run on the stores, and you're going to have a Uzi or machine gun to get in there and get anything. You have to have a whole army with you to fight on the way out. And you have no gas and electric either. That's all fuel. That's what's about to hit you. That's what the Bible is telling you. That's about to hit you, brothers and sisters. How it's going to pack you, brother and sister. No food. And none on the forecast if America lose that war and get kicked out of there. So they can't lose. Well, what if they do? The Bible says they will. But you don't. What if they do? How does that impact you? And another thing, well, it says false Israel will be surrounded. We see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. Know that desolation is like. That right there tell you they've been lying, because if false Israel was true seed Abraham, that statement could not be true. Because who controls Jerusalem? Jerusalem is the capital of what? So when you see it surrounded by armies, it's destruction is nigh. Now it's redemption, but the Christians are telling you destruct. That means it's not true seed Abraham. And it says flee, 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 flee immediately. Don't go get your baby. Don't go in the house or anything. Why? Because you fled from your neighbors. Why are you fleeing from your neighbors? For 2 reasons. Because during that time, brother, immediate, it says in chapter 18, immediate economic collapse in Europe and America. Immediate. So right there you got that. All cut off. They win. America loses. False Israel goes down. Now you got immediate economic, then you got immediate psychological, philosophical, right? Ideological collapse. Total. Because this whole bullshit been predicated on the idea that false Israel is the true seed Abraham. Now they're gone. So it's proved they're not. And the only reason they set it up to prove they were, and that we were not, because it was trying to counter what Elijah Muhammad was saying. So now they know that we are total. That means if we are, who are they? That means they're really devils and God's coming after me. God, a nigga. That's the cry in America. Because now they know that we are God's chosen people. We the true seed of Abraham. We God's chosen people. You mean God, another? That's the cry in America. Because now, economic collapse total, break the pride of power. Economic, because oil is the basis, and all this ideological stuff that allowed them to do all the stuff they was doing, right? Based on false Israel being the true seed of Abraham, is gone. Both collapse same time. Bam! Master Muhammad brings both of those to bear at the same time. That's total economic, total philosophical, total mental earthquake in America instantly. Instantly. Chaos, panic. That's why I say flee. Because at that time they haven't been eating a couple of days. You're going to be the meal. That's why I tell you to flee. Don't go in your house. Don't get your kids nothing. If they with you in the house, pull them out with you. But if they in the house, you outside, they keep running. Just have to give it up. Otherwise, both of you are going to be eating. Because you're not running from the army. You're not running from the police force, taking time to get there. You're going to feed that to a neighbor. Because they're hungry. And now they know you true save him. And that they being devastations coming on them. God's punishing them. And then God, nah. They said they would make war against God. Why? Because God let them. It's clear. That's what Master Muhammad is going to be. At the same time, false, your anointed, Mr. Minstrel Farrakhan, is exposed. Because he's on the program with them. He's a demon. All it's going to happen suddenly. Suddenly, brothers and sisters, break the pride of power. It's going to be a little tsunami, economic, earthquake, you name it. Right? Like you couldn't believe. Going to shock, this way, shock of the hour is going to shock the planet. Specifically here in America. That's what's about to happen. And then that false vision, that dream they became American dream, is squashed, it's dead. See, that's what's got you distracted. See? Mesmerized. Because Farrakhan told you, you ain't going anywhere, so that means he said, there's no vision. A nation without a vision perishes. And that's the vision Master Muhammad came in to give you, to reignite, because that's the vision that we had coming in here. Was told when this process started 50,000 years ago that this would happen. And that vision was the promise of Abraham and covenant, that we go through it, and what the end result would be, the reward. And so now we're going through it. Now you're going everything to deprive you of the reward or get you to turn away from the reward, despise the reward, like story by Jacob and Esau. And Farrakhan's in on it. Because if he tell you you're not going anywhere, then what the hell we do this for? You don't understand the impact of that. He's telling you ain't going anywhere. He's calling God lies. He's calling Master Muhammad lies. He's calling Elijah Muhammad a liar. He's calling all of them liars. He's calling Scripture a liar. Because we already paid the price for it. So once he tells you that, that means he snatched that vision away from you. That's the vision Elijah gave, and you saw what the result of it, right? It's powerful. They put fear in America. They have FYMGT. Now they're laughing stock. They're nothing. And he snatched that away. You ain't going nowhere. And devils ain't devils anymore. And brains ain't no eye. Because he's working for them. That's the whole point, brothers and sisters. See? So he's about to be cast down. When thrones are cast down, ancient days is set. He's only a few more days. All this will happen the same Sunday. And then that's when most of you are going to wake up. Because you'll be mesmerized with the American dream, because there ain't no mesmerized with the American dream when there's no food. Right? That lie they've been telling people that now it's obviously it's clear they devils, like Elijah Muhammad said. And not only that, I mean, there's a lot more things we can talk about that, right? Right? But they're devils. Liars. And on the military angle, remember America's invincible? Most powerful country on the planet. That's been setting up all. First, they got defeated in Korea. Then they got defeated in Vietnam. Then they got defeated in Afghanistan. And these were cheap herders, basically. Right stumpers. And that just got defeated by Iran and Syria. Master Muhammad will be behind them. They can't tell you about his anticipation. So now their military facade is gone. Break the pride of their power. So now all the nations will rise up against them. Because they say, hell, they could beat them. They could be sheep herders, rice stumpers. See? That's what's happening. That war, they lose that war. What happened, brothers and sisters? And then what? Let's take them one step further. Now Europe is totally broken, freezing, no oil, anything. And the only oil they can get is they can't get any Middle East oil because they was participate with America in their adventure over in the Middle East where they got their ass kicked. Only source of oil is Russia. And now you hear murmurs right now that they turn against America. They want to be bothered. The people are turning again. Because I told you that would happen. So they're going to side with Russia. And that's going to be the war of Armageddon in Europe. Everybody's going to betray America. So how does that impact you, brothers and sisters? How you going to cut this thing so you come out? Look, there's no food. No food for you either. Well, there'd be food if you in the Lamb's Book of Life. We ain't charging you anything. We don't say, hey, you got to pay money to get this land. No, it's all a free gift. I'm just warning you, so you know where to flee to, and to get the hell out of here. See, because we Promised Land Airlines, and I got the tickets, and Master Muhammad has the transportation, but you want to go to the American Dream Airlines. And they're crashing on takeoff. They've been crashing ever since 2020. So you want to go that way. You understand, brothers and sisters? Trying to help you. See? So I'm going to go to some things. I'm going to go to this very quick because it's something I talked about before. But understand, brothers and sisters, this on the doorstep. How's it going to affect you? Do you think if there's no food here, brothers and sisters, you think they're not going to eat? The Bible tells you they're going to eat you. It says it. I didn't have to make it up. It says very clearly. It even says how they're going to do it. It says how they're going to cut you up and break it, and everything. They tell you exactly what they're going to do. It says, I'm going to God's people. Now, that never happened to the so-called false Israel. It's going to happen to you. It says they're going to eat my people. That's you. Because you didn't pay attention. So how is it going to affect you? Forget about that part. There's no food. What do you think they're going to do? They tell you they can't go a couple of hours out eating. Morning, noon, and night. And they're all in between. So how's it going to affect you? How's that going to affect you, brothers and sisters? There's no food. And if they have food, you think they would share it with you? Do you really think that? If there's a famished country with no food, how do you think you're going to fare in that situation? Ask yourself that. You think it's not happening? Well, it's happening. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. And I'll move fairly quickly. That's it. Okay, let's see here. It says, wrath of the gods, brothers and sisters. It says that day of wrath was let loose. Be like you've never seen anything before. You don't want the wrath of the God on you. That's what's happening. Because the Holocaust, it says after 2020, 1619 to 2019, that's 40 years, then the plague that will kill the firstborn and the elderly pass over you. Exactly what has happened. Be the first 10 plagues. Right? One again, there's 9 of the plagues. All that's happening. Happened right on time. Everything else happened right on time also. Okay. And it says, the wrath, it said, the worst you ever seen, unprecedented, and there'll be nothing like it ever again. Wrath of the gods. So I'm just going to walk this quickly, brothers and sisters. This is the angel key, right? So understand it. See, we don't just put things together. There's rules and everything's a puzzle you got to put together. That's the key. It's like I broke the 7 seals. That's the angel key. I'm just going through it. So we start in 1948. It says star rise in the east. That means a star rise in the east to herald the Christ's birth. That means Christ has been in the west, but star be in the east. I mean, think about these things, brothers and sisters. I mean, he born over here amongst the beasts in America. Newark. The new ark, right? They mentioned that also in the broadcast today, the ark. This might as well play my presentation. That's that. I'm going to move through this quick. I already talked about that, a previous presentation on this. So it says, Suleiman or the Christ be conceived at the same time false Israel came into existence. So you know who the Christ is, Farrakhan. He'd be at the exact same age. That's why I call Christ Antichrist. Like on one side of the equation, the equals the other side. 5 equal 5. One is negative, one is positive. And that's also a struggle of 2 witnesses, because they were witness against false Israel for 42 years, starting in 1948. Because they witnessed against false Israel. And then 1966, that's when Suleiman was baptized, right? While John or Elijah was teaching. Now, I know you don't understand this unless you study angel key, but that's the baptism. Because the thing is that Suleiman would be over in that part region of the world, Because if the NOI is not there, if you understand the angel, he's in that part of the world during that period of time, from 1966 to 1970, right? That's the baptism in the rivers, because there's also where the wings there, also called the rivers or seas. So you baptize, you understand. And in 1970, you come up, and suddenly comes to Elijah's temple. That's what happened. Suleiman came to his son's temple in 1970, August 1970, right? While Elijah Muhammad was teaching. So I'm moving quickly through this, brothers and sisters. I'm going to get to a point, then we're going to leave it go. And then in 1975, the messenger departs after Suleiman, or the son of man, or the messenger of covenant, suddenly comes to the temple, right? He departs. So I'm not going to go into all the significance of this. There's a lot behind that, brothers and sisters. I'm going through this fairly quickly. Okay. And then comes the falling away. Be not deceived. The falling away will come first. The Farrakhan changed around. Now he's trying to say, well, scripture's distorted, and we got to give the truth. Who determines what that truth is? You said the scripture's distorted and compromised, then why do you even believe in it? Would you just state that somebody dropped a little bit of, the waiter, he was talking, a little bit of spit fell on it, just a little bit. Would you eat it? So if the scripture's corrupt, why don't you just leave it alone? Are you going to fix it? So you say you wanted to say what you want to say. Then why we even need it? Just listen to you, right? So be not deceived. But tell you up front. That's it all. Be not deceived. Far away comes first. But Farrakhan told you far away comes second. Because he says, since he's revealing who the son of perdition is, now the falling away. He changed it all around. They say, be not deceived by somebody telling you that. Be not deceived by somebody telling you that the falling away will come afterwards. Be not deceived, the falling away come first. Farrakhan said come afterwards. So they tell you right there, don't be deceived by this fool. And falling away come first. And then the son of perdition be revealed. Farrakhan said just the opposite. That's him. 1980. They talking about Nation of Islam. He destroyed. I was present. The government did not take down Nation of Islam. Farrakhan walls did single-handedly, and they got rid of the name and everything. Liquidated all the funds, took it for themselves. It was in the name of the Nation of Islam, and the people, they took it for themselves. It was them. They did it. They got rid of it. Started something called the Balalians. I was present. It's not secondhand stuff. See? Then he's revealed in 1980 when he shows up. Here's some addition. Say it reigned for 42 years. Ain't this 42nd years? Ain't this the 42nd year right now? He's true. He's got 3 feet in a grave. Walking around, pushing around in a wheelchair, wearing a diaper. That's your anointed. Pushing around in a wheelchair wearing a diaper. That's your anointed. And so 1990, 42 years from 1948, it was cast out. That's when America invaded the Middle East. Right? That's what they're talking about the witnesses. That's Syria and Iran. Then 2008 comes up. That's Obama. Riding that white horse with a bow and a golden crown. See, the bow is rainbow. The other part is rainbow. That's another story, brothers and sisters. 2008, he shows up. See? Says to be a black man, but not one of us. Let me go here. Then, 2000, he started JCPOA. That's what said the witnesses will be under the foot of the nations for 3.5 years. That means under control of the UN. Another way to say on the foot of the nations. So in 2015, he said JCPOA. Then what happened? Then 3.5 years later, exactly, right? After 42 months, it was annulled by Trump. That gets back to Daniel, say the middle of the week. 7 days, right? 7 years. The treaty will be broken. That's 3.5 years. I'm not going to Daniel's side of it. That's probably, he don't understand his stuff. Because he has broken ACLs. Only thing he's broken is wind. I'm not sure he can do that anymore because I say he's wearing a diaper. And then it says, for 3.5 years, there have been negotiations, JCPOA, and they tried to renegotiate it, right? Which will bring you to 2022, but now it's dead. I told you back then it was not going to go back to JCPOA. See, now they're rising up. But that during that period of time, be putting pressure on America. Just watch the key, follow it closely, putting pressure on America and Britain, Gog and Magog, as far as Israel, because they're rich in uranium at a fast rate. And now they put pressure on them because they said, we can't let them get that bomb. So that's putting immense pressure on America, Britain, as far as Israel, because they're rich in uranium at a fast rate. And they already vowed, and they can't, as far as Israel's not lying, they can't afford to let, if they let Iran get a nuclear weapon that neutralizes their nuclear, and so therefore they at a war, conventional war, where they will definitely lose. That's the only thing keeping the Arabs off their back, and Iranians and Syrians off their back is their nuclear weapons. And then 2020 came to play. 1619 to 2019, 2020. Farrakhan didn't see it. He didn't speak on it until 7 months later. He had so-called Savior's Day meeting in February, and he didn't say nothing about it. All he has head totally up Kobe's ass. He didn't say anything about it. Nothing, zero. Then he claims later, oh, well, nobody knew about it. That's a lie. They knew about it in January because I spoke on it. Got presentations because he's a liar. And then he waited 7 months to speak on it. But how come he didn't see that? He said, anointed is a plague, most dramatic plague that you've seen in your life, most of you. And it was easy to call. 1619 to 2019, that's 400 years. And then a plague that would kill the firstborn, to pass over the elderly, and pass over the seed of Abraham, us. They were talking about, first they tried, we dropped like fire, it was lying. See? The demons may have been, but not us. I wasn't wearing a mask. I ain't taking no shots. Then 2022, right? The sign of Jonah, that's what the period right now. Because that's what everybody's waiting for. This world's waiting for it. Master Muhammad's waiting for it also. Because that's a sign of our unity. Because that's Nineveh, which is America, which is saints, nation of Islam. Nineveh, the great city, is America. 3,000 miles across, 3 days journey across. But Nineveh was one journey, one day from the East Coast. That's Chicago. Nineveh repeated, not Nineveh, the great city. Farrakhan still on that dead horse. He's going to get America to repent. Bullshit ain't happening. You understand, brothers and sisters? So that's why he talked, because he's going down any day now. And when that's the demons kicking out. Demons kicking out from them. The demons kick out. That brings them together. They have enough energy to unify, but the demons in there keep them separated. That's what Suma will kick those demons out. It says, who the Lord will consume the middle spirit of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. So Farrakhan is in the process about to being destroyed. So that's a sign. So when that happens, he's just setting in the nature. He comes to my now, well, you got to worry about the son of a dish because he's about to take over the NI or something, some crap like that, right? No. Some addition already there. See, that's when the elevated play, I talk about that. See? So he's been about to cast down. It says, when thrones are cast down, ancient days is set. So when that happens, right, the demons are removed from him, now he comes together, he gets mind back, comes together. That's also the sign of the rise of Lazarus, because the nation of Islam, that represents the Levites. Lazarus, tribe of Shabazz. So both of them happen simultaneously. When they see that, that means Lazarus is in the process of rising. That means that's the time, because they said they planned, I'm not going into details, brothers and sisters, but said they was planning. Says, remember the story about the dragon stood by to devour that child? He said, it's two ways. Look at that. The sealed version, unsealed version. Said, that's destroyed his nation as soon as it was born. Because they was trying to destroy his nation as soon as it was born. And that's what they've been planning and waiting. Said, was waiting for it. to devour it. See? And that's why it'd be snatched away. That's the tree of life also. It'd be snatched away. Can't let me get their hands on us. But their plan is to destroy us, and Master Muhammad's plan is to watch, see what happens, because he don't want to have we move forward because we have to be united. So he goes and asks Pastor what say, war starts in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought again. He's ahead of the game. He gets in before they do, and snatch us away. So Farrakhan, he's out in a few more days. He will be rolling down Stony Island with his wheelchair. See? Totally humiliated. And then this kicks in the two prophets, the war prophets, because they got the two war books. And their books kick in, right? The first one, he ignites the four winds. See, you don't pay attention to them now. They don't mean anything to you right now. But see, at that time, it's going to be intense darkness. And when it's intense darkness, you can see a flame a mile away. You see a flame a mile away with intense darkness. Intense darkness, there are going to be two flames. See? Suleiman's going to be a burning bush. There are going to be two flames. You're going to see them from a mile away. You're going to listen to them then. They're two war prophets. They got two war books. And their books are both war books. And they kick in at this point. Because the first one released the four winds. And released that first wind, that kicks in the second prophet. Because he released the demons. See? There's two armies. The Levite army and the demon army. America has to contend with both of them. That's any day now. We're 2022. We only got 4 more days left. 22, don't we? 2022. And that JCPO dead. JCPOA dead, right? That's one heaven. When he breaks the pride of power, the ideological thing, false Israel's going down, that proves that we're true to Abraham. The oil cut off, famine. Demon war. Defeat. That oil's cut off. Famine. Boom. Immediately. Dragon is defeated. Famine instantly. Because the oil's cut off from Europe and America. They throw America in total darkness. Economic darkness. Electricity. All that cut off. Total darkness. Total triple darkness. We see a flame, a spark, a flame, right? A mile away. Then two war prophets be giants in the land. Walking around the land bold with destruction in their hands. You don't pay attention to them now. But I know what's going to happen. Because you don't see them now. Those two books are going to be very powerful because they're war books. And it's telling you everything that's going to happen during that period of time. They got two war books. They're not the two witnesses, but they are witnesses. But they're not the two main witnesses in chapter 11 talking about. Those are armies. Those are nations. Two prophets. Got two books, war books. See, they were defeated, now they're kicked out of heaven. Famine. All total cause, famine, total famine. They said the beginning of famine, which was a few days, they said they'll be selling dove manure, dove dove manure, dove dung, or dove shit for astronomical amount of money if you can catch it, because nobody had nothing to eat. They eat that. And donkey's head. How much meat's on donkey's head? And then they won't even be that to eat. And say we throw the gold and silver in the streets, it'll be worthless. Oprah, see, Jay-Z, Kanye, Russell, all money's gonna be worthless. Because what you gonna do with $1 billion you can't buy any food? And you're gonna be on the menu. And that's when abomination of desolation, that's one of the issues here. Because after they defeat it, then you got Jerusalem surrounded by armies. They're under siege. Under siege. No food in, no food out. That's why it says men's hearts be failing, right? For fear of those things coming upon the earth, because the powers of heaven be shaken. That's what I mean by that. Because they're going to see, that's going to be the first example of how it's going to be here. Because they're under siege. They just got kicked out of the Middle East. Now falls under siege. And they're eating each other. No food. They're eating each other. And it's going, the whole world going to see it. Because they're going to have drones flying. Iran don't have drones flying around showing these people eat each other and have no food. And they know that's about to come to America. That's why men's hearts be failing for fear of those things coming upon the earth. Earth represents European countries, specifically America. Because the powers of heaven, Middle East, broken, shaken. That means America, who's the powers of the Middle East? America, Britain, false Israel, God, Magog, and the Antichrist. Shake it. And so that's why their hearts are failing for fear in anticipation which thing's going to be once it comes here. Men's hearts are failing for fear of those coming things coming upon the earth that's coming here. You see? And then that's when, because falsehood was taken down, said to flee. That's when you had to flee. And the four winds blowing. First, you start blowing. Famine's going on. They tell you to flee, because now they know that you're true Abraham. And you're fleeing from your neighbors, because they're hungry. They haven't eaten in a couple of days. I was telling you to flee. You can't go in the house, can't do anything. You got to run. That's what it affects. That's what impact on having you, black man and black woman. If you're not paying attention, that's going to be the situation. Now, now it's the time of two prophet warriors. According to the AL-INJIL, boy, they're gonna be something else. Might not think too much of them right now. That's what it says is gonna happen, so we'll see. The four winds, demon conflict. That's the first wind. The second prophet, first prophet released the first of the four winds. That second prophet, he takes that first wind and uses that to release the demons. Because they already kicked out. Because they're going to be a demon war. We're going to kick the demons out when we separate them out from us. So we go to war with them. And they kicked out. And the second prophet, he takes and releases the four demons upon America. 5-month demon plague. We see right there, Farrakhan's one. There'll be one. There's a demon, right? Black-faced devil. That's powerful. And he's going to be like Martin Luther King on steroids. He's going to ignite and electrify the people to bring them together for this war, because they're going to be under attack too. Remember, they attacked all blacks. But we get to fight with each other because we don't want the demons. So we separate them away from us because they want us to stay here and fight. We say, hell, Dad, we're leaving out of here. See? No, help us fight. There's 17 million of us, and 17 million y'all, 18, 40 million. We can take America. No, well, you take it. We're out of here. So we get to fight and we kick them out. That's no story. I'm not going into that detail, brothers. Four women's demons conflict. It lasts 5 months. 5 months. And they're fighting. They're fighting for two reasons: trying to take America if they can, and trying to avoid being eaten. Because there ain't gonna be no give up. There ain't gonna be no food here. And you're the food. Black people are the food. They catch you, they eat you. And they're going to catch a lot. And those they catch, right? They catch a bunch of them, they'll corral them. The army collects them, whatever. If the people catch them, they're going to eat them. Put you in a corral. You're going to say, I want that one there. Give me that one with the baby. Because all the blacks, all the demons are going to be fighting. The children, women, everything. Because you didn't have no electricity. Now there's going to be a total war. Total war. Read about the demon war. They call it a locust war. Locust, why? Because that's locusts are silent famine. Total war. You have total war in America. Another aspect about it is all the foreigners. All these people that are letting in, so some immigrants, they're going to tear this country apart because they feel it's their country anyway. Remember Texas and California, that belonged to Mexico. That was Mexico. They think that's their land anyway. It's time of unprecedented trouble. America's be worse than any place on the planet. Total chaos here. That's what I said, tribulation. The great tribulation. That's the 5 months demon locust war. Tearing this country apart. It's a total war. They're fighting, trying to take the country and also trying to keep it being eaten. They catch your hands now while you eating. Not to mention, and the false Israel, those in this country, you wouldn't want to be here if you wanted them, because they're going to blame you for blindness, because they said, you lied to us. You told us you was the true Abraham. You want guys in church. You guys in that war and that kind of stuff. There's no place on the planet be safe for them. Their destruction is awful. Everybody's destruction, but them. Everybody's be after them. The demons, the devils, everybody. So, and then after 5 months after, they get defeated. They defeat on the eve of the goat, China, India, embarking on the coast of North America, on the west coast of America. See? These are only days away, brothers and sisters. I said, no one knows the exact time and day but Master Muhammad. I know I'm close. I don't know the exact date, he does. Because after 5 months, they're defeated and eaten. When they defeat them, they eat them, the ones that's left. And it won't last long. Because you got over 30 million of them, 300 million of them, you got 17 million demons. They're not going to last long, what, a couple, 2 or 3 days? You know, eating up. Then it says they'll have nothing to eat. They're going to start eating each other. Well, there won't be any pets during that time. They're gone. They've been gone. They'll start eating each other, eating their own children. You better read it again, brothers and sisters. Then apocalypse. Apocalypse is European war. World War III in Europe. It's triggered. Not because Ukraine, they're going to have something to do with it. But this, no, they could have won them. And like I said, everybody turns against America. So America's over there. EU, NATO, and everything turns against America. Russia and everything. And they're getting it. And the thing is, they're going to drag a lot of black folks over there. Said, throw them to the river. You understand what that means? They're going to throw a lot of you into the river because you're listening. You ain't paying attention, but you're not listening. And they'll have you fighting this war. That's why I make movies like Devotion and stuff like that there to get you ready. The third that one, use you as cannon fodder. See? Apocalypse. At that time, that's where we'd be going. Because you see here, Iran and Syria, they're up there in the ark. That's the ark up top there. The first 3 levels. The water, the area that's also called waters. You know why it's still in the waters? They're still in tribulation. Above the ark. I mean, they're below the ark. But we're over there now because if Syria and Iran is not coming here, we've been delivered. Master Muhammad delivered us out of here. And now they're fighting over this. Not going to be a nuclear war. Not be a nuclear war. America will be nuked, but it will not be a nuclear war. Master Muhammad would not allow it. So that's the apocalypse. America's fighting all those European countries, including Russia. And they're getting wiped out. Okay, brothers, I'm going to move into this quickly. I'm going back 50,000 years ago. We was kicked out of Arabia by half brothers, Ishmael. family enemy. That's enemies when your family becomes your enemy. That's something I coined. But anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. I'll go through this really quickly. See? So that was our first war. They kicked us out of there. And then we didn't go easy. We covered it with sand to protect it. That's the best part of planet Earth. Not going into detail about that. Then the God and Magog wars. I'm jumping ahead. I'm missing some things right here. God and Magog wars. That means when they attacked us 500 years ago. See? So we've been at war for 50,000 years. So I'm just talking about the major ones that you may be familiar with. That's when they attacked us. We're at war. We've been at war. We continue to be at war. We've been at war since 50,000 years, but particularly with Gog and Magog, America and Britain, for the last 500 years. So we're at that war now. Now, Satan demon wars. See? That's the war. False Israel. We're at war with our image, destroying our image. And demons helping them do it. Heart and with all these other Martin Lawrence, all these clowns. They're all demons. And they help them, they work together to destroy our image, destroy us as a people. Satan and demons. So we're at war with that. Ideological war. Right? They over there, false Israel, pretend to be us. And then come the dragon wars I just told you about. Middle East. See? Well, we also be in war here because we all this together because they're going to attack us here. Because now I know that we trusted Abraham. It says flee. Those are wars we have to deal with, brothers and sisters. We got a lot of wars we got to deal with. And then you got the demon war. And I've been saying there's someone, and now you got this person emerging, Kanye. He may be that person. I said there'll be a person that would arise, a demon, that will electrify all other demons. And he's looked like he might be the one, because all these young demons out there, they ain't our brothers. The more they mess with him, the more popular he becomes with them. See? Because Farrakhan's been sidelined. TAJ's sidelined. They're listening to him. So he may be the one that's going to lead the demons into war. Now, saying this, that's what it looks like. And I've been talking about him. Anybody that see my presentation, I've been talking about it for years. There's going to be one that's going to rise, going to electrify him, a demon. Maybe a Christian demon. Be a Christian. Then the Jinn Wars. After that, right? We out of here. Where we go? We go back to our land, but now we got to fight the Jinn. That's the Arabs. Ishmael. I have brother. Got to take a land back. Read Exodus. Now we have war with them. And then the day war of latter days. Not going into detail about that. Right? We're home at that point. But during this time of all this other stuff going on, Africa's going to break into two parts. Islamic Africa and non-Islamic Africa. And in non-Islamic Africa, we're headed by this man who went around conquering the White Horse. First conquest of the President of the United States. Second one, he said, I'll make my throne on the far north. Who you think I talked about? That's Lucifer. But you don't understand that. See, in chapter 17 it says, the beast that was, yet is, what is not. Yet is, he's the eighth, but of the seventh. That's what he's talking about him, but you don't understand it. And then he's going to attack us. That's the true God. Because God, when they say God, God is a nation, is also the leader of the nation. God's, we use two references. So America is God, but he's a God. Biden's a God. Clinton was a God, because he was president of the United States. He's a God. So that's the God will go against, not false Israel over there, because we'll be at peace with no walls around us. We return home in peace, no walls around us. Right? We'll take the country now, we're at peace, and there's no walls around us. That's not false Israel. And then that's when God, because he's the little horn in Daniel, I'll talk about that another time. I do have presentations about it, but he's a little horn that takes down all the other horns. And then he emerges victorious over China and India. First united with them when they come and take America out. But then he takes them out afterwards, and now he's the world power, and then he wants to take us out because he wants to be the Most High. So I will be like the Most High. He'd be like Master Muhammad in ways, because he's got an original father and a devil mother too. A lot of things there, brothers and sisters, to unpack on that one. Death struggle. What's the death struggle? Okay, I'm going to reiterate some things here. Now, it says his goat will become from the west, right? Feet were not touching land. That means coming across the Pacific Ocean. But the ram, see, you can't miss this, brothers and sisters, because America is between the east and the west. The east is over there in Europe, Eastern countries, and the west, right, is over here. If you look at it, right, they're between two, because it says the goat would come from the west, but the ram came from the east. That's where America came from. They came from, American Britain came from the east. Europe is in the east. They call it the west, but it's in the east. That continent is in the west. So they came here, that's the goat, right? And said the two horns, that's American Britain. But the goat came from the west, his feet did not touch land. They said about the, right? So he came, and he was angry with the ram. And he's also, it's the leopard, yellow and brown spots that morphs into the goat, one horn. And if you look at the map, the only way that could be possible if America's in the middle and they came from the east like they did, the goat, in order to come from the west without feet not touching land, would have to be China. Only China's the only one that could do that. And India right behind them. Because they don't have to touch any land to come here, right? Because they're right on the coast there. America's right on the coast. So that's when they're going to attack after the 5-month plague, right after 5-month plague, because they're going to embark. That's going to be an embark because that's going to be the last hope of the demons. Because Obama's going to be with them. It says that horn, there was a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. He didn't have no crowns on either one, but he was along with the beast that had 7 heads, alongside that beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns and crowns upon his horns. He'd be with them. So they're the same ones, but Obama's is in charge. But he don't have the crown, he don't have the authority. The Chinese had authority, but he's with them. But the dragon had 7 heads and 10 horns, right? The same construction, but he had horns. That was Europeans. See, they had crowns upon their heads. But now it says in chapter 13 that it will transfer power from the dragon to the beast. Because the war of Armageddon, the West tears itself apart. So they come against it, and that's what's going on here. They're going to attack the ram, America. If you're still here, brothers and sisters. Attack it. It says, be angry with him. Ain't China getting angry with America? Now, at this time, America's already kicked out of the Middle East, all tough, famine, everything, right? The insurrection with the demons going, they've already been attacked by the demons. They're full-fledged war with the demons and false Israel here and all the immigrants and everything else. That full-fledged war that's going on. That they overcome the demons just at this point, right? They're being wiped out in Europe. One plague after another. And then now they're being invaded by China and India. And China's angry. See what he does. He said he would take them down, stomp them down, and set them on fire. That's what said. Babylon would be thrown down, right? Famine be famine and burned down with fire. Read chapter 18. Famine would be one of the plagues. And ultimately we burn down with fire. It's famine. That's talking about America there. That's false. That's the Babylon, not Iran. Iraq wasn't burned down with fire. Talking about America there. Hope you wake up, brothers and sisters. You're going to wake up. I just hope you don't wake up in the oven. Right? But you're going to wake up. Master, I'm going to wake you up. Apocalypse. See, apocalypse and Armageddon is a different thing. Armageddon, that's the war in Europe. The apocalypse is the final destruction of the earth. Much of the earth represents European countries. That's the drown. They finally drowned. So they all drowned. That's the apocalypse. Who is drowned? They're drowned by China and India. 200 million man army. It's a flood of humanity, not a flood of water. You got to understand the angel key for that. See the lion there? The lion is an African country. See, they with the goat when he comes. They're with the goat. That's Obama. He's with him. See? Then you got the eagles. The eagles represent European countries. See? They're fighting against the goat, but it's humanity, a flood of humanity, not a flood of water. They take them down. See? It's happening, brothers and sisters. And so we're going to close out pretty quick here. It says, when Gog and Magog let loose, they will break forth from every elevated place. That's a crime. That's a crime, brothers and sisters. See, Gog and Magog is American Britain. You see that in chapter 20. They try to tell you that's the future, but it says when they came out of the bottomless pit, right? Gog and Magog will go out and cover the whole planet. They try to tell us some linear in the future, but they also try to tell you that Gog is going to be destroyed when they attack false Israel. So it can't have both ways. They destroy how they come out the pit 1,000 years later, because that's European history. Chapter 20 is European history. It says the resurrection took place. Whose resurrection? The resurrection was the Prophet Muhammad resurrected Abraham's Islamic army, Islamic nation, Islamic empire. Because what they won't tell you is that Abraham built Mecca, Medina, all that stuff. They won't tell you that, because then you say, well, Abraham walked with God. That means that must be the right thing. How come they don't tell you that? Prophet Muhammad didn't build that. It was there. The pilgrimage, all that stuff was going on when he was born. Abraham built that. That's where we return to. So you return here, back there, not to Paris, right? Not to Britain, not to Berlin. So it's about Gog and Magog, that's American Britain. They went and they covered the whole world. And they dominated. They're the ones that dominate the planet. So they were in every elevated place. See? And here we go. I'm going to talk this short. And they are. Right? False Israel, right? And they got Hollywood. That's the elevated place. They determine everybody's image. They tell us they tell everybody what we should be like. Because that's what they put in the movies. What they think we should be like. And everybody's going along with it. Federal Reserve, they control that. Right? They control the Congress. See? The so-called Jesus of the Bible says they're the God of this world. He said, when Satan confronted him in the desert, in the wilderness, he didn't say, I got to control some of the countries. I got to control all of them, all the nations. He said, offering to Jesus, if he just bowed down to him, he said, no, I'm not going to do that. He got everybody else to bow, he couldn't get him. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? You understand? Satan is the God. Oh, God bless America. Satan, you mean that's the works of a righteous God? Genocide, murder, rape, torture, torment. They terrorized us 40 years. Oh, you maintain a system like that through terror, period. You mean that's God's way? If that's God's way, what is Satan? What problem you got with Satan? That's the God of this world. That's the God they're worshiping. That's the God that empowered them to take America and everything else. Right? And then elevated their place. They got a demon with Farrakhan says follows a Jew. He says it. Google Farrakhan says, my father's a Jew. My father may have been a Jew. Read, it's right there. Him speaking. So now that's the elevated place. They got control of all of it. All of it. Including Jerusalem. Don't they have control of Jerusalem? Mecca too. Because the House of Assad made an agreement with them that they give them all they want if they protect. So if America and Gog, Magog is protecting guaranteeing their throne, protecting them, who's in charge there? The protector or the protectee? If they're not protecting, they lose everything. They have control of every elevated place. And Farrakhan, that's the elevated place here, because that's the place that was setting up for making way for Mexico the covenant. Preparing the way for him to get us home. That's what's bringing them down. That's the forces bringing them down, and they got control of it. The Nation of Islam. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Every elevated place. See here? There you go. A demon, son of a devil. How in the hell can he be your Messiah? He's son of a devil. See, if you believe that, then you're a demon or an absolute idiot. Fool. That's what's about to happen. It's about to be taken down. It's about to be happening. A few more days, brothers and sisters. So the nation without a vision perishes. Nation without a vision perishes. Nation without people without a vision perishes. What's your vision, brothers and sisters? American dream, the nightmare? Because Master Muhammad can turn the dream into a nightmare. He's about to crush it. When there's no food and everything, you can be caring about the Americans because it's obviously it's crushed right before your eyes. The whole idea about America being good and all that kind of stuff, that's crushed. Because now you choose Abraham, they've been opposed to you destroying the people of God for 400 years. Total crush. So that vision is going to be gone, snatched away. It wasn't a dream, it wasn't a vision anyway. A dream is not real. So the only thing you're going to see is the true vision, but it's going to be too late for some of you. It says, my people are lost for lack of knowledge. Something's going to be too late for. Okay, bro, that's it. That's it. Hope you understand, bro. So I'm going to leave it there. Remember, see, you are true to Abraham. Read Abraham, read the whole thing. And Farrakhan is a liar. His father's the devil. Remember that. Look it up. He says himself. He also said Elijah Muhammad said that he would be his worst hypocrite. He don't speak on that. Time is up, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to leave it there. See here.